Okay, welcome back to our discussion on connecting Go to PostgreSQL. So we left off by verifying connection, by verifying that we can indeed connect to our database. Okay. Okay, so let's use this lesson to actually perform an insert statement. Uh, what we will do, we will insert a new quote, which we will write inside our main and have Go send that data via the database driver to our database. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. Okay, so let's let's insert a quote. Okay, and so the way we insert a quote, we need to specify the actual SQL, okay, using a variable. So I'm going to say insert quote. Okay, that's the name of our variable, and it will be this string, okay, which I'll have on multiple lines. So insert into, notice I'm using backticks, okay, insert into quotations, author name. Okay. Remember, we don't need to provide for the others because they're automatically generated by Postgres. Category and the quote. Okay, do I have that right? Insert in the quotations, author name, category. Yes. Values, and the values will be, let's get something by Lao Tzu. Okay, Chinese philosopher. Let's say the category is life, since he talks a lot about life. And we're gonna have the quote be, and notice I'm using double quotes for strings. In the data in Postgres, we use single quotes for strings, but in Go, we use double quotes. Okay, don't confuse them. So mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. Okay. Okay. So that looks well formed. Okay. So it's telling me I haven't used it. All right. Okay. So we have our insert statement. So now, oops. All right. That brings up a good situation. Now, I will redo this. However, I want to mention something. We do not directly insert strings via Go. Okay, so you should not do what I just did here. Okay, and the reason is we want to prevent SQL injection attacks, which means that we don't want anybody to be writing in arbitrary SQL code without Go looking at it and helping us to clean it, to sanitize it. Okay. All right. So what I need to do, okay, is actually use placeholders. So I'm going to say $1, all right? And then the next one is going to be $2, and the next one is going to be $3. Okay, so I have my placeholders, okay? And so what I'm going to do now, okay, let's just say I'm going to call DB, okay, again, where we're getting DB from. DB is coming from the database connection, all right? So I'm going to say db.execute. I want to execute this SQL query, okay? It's SQL statement. And what is it? Where is the SQL statement? It's insert quote, okay? So what I need to now provide as the next argument is the actual strings, okay? All right. And so the strings are simply these ones, okay? And so what will happen, all right, let me see here. Okay, let me put this down here. Let me put this down there. All right. Okay. All right. Now, if we look at execute, all right, we have a result that it returns and an error. All right. We don't really care about returning anything right now since it doesn't return anything, since it's an insert statement. All right. But what we do care about is if the insert didn't work. All right. So if error not nil, again, notice I'm doing the same thing. I'm checking if the error was bad. Okay. If it was not nil, then I'm just gonna simply return, or I'm gonna quit the program. Okay. Okay. So I should have a. Okay. All right. Think I have everything. Man, yeah, I have all my parentheses and my brackets. So this is my code, and so Laozu will be replaced by, well, $1 will be replaced by Laozu. Life will be replaced, life will replace $2, and $3 will be replaced by this one here. Okay, and so what Go will do if there are any characters that need to be escaped, all right, such as single quotes and so on, Go will do those. It will escape those characters because if historically people would write SQL inside text boxes, like when you have a form to fill in, they would write malicious SQL with quotes and so on. And when you when the person hit submit on the form and that went to your database, then that malicious SQL code will be executed on your database. And so it might do things like delete your database, or it might show everything about your database, that sort of thing. So to prevent that, Go, in a sense, sanitizes, cleans up your SQL input. And so when I was hard coding the values in here, that would not really allow for the sanitizing to happen. So by doing my db.execute, I am able to actually help go a bit in doing the sanitizing. Okay. All right. I'll have a link that I will SQL injection attacks so that you can read up a bit more about it if you so desire. But keep in mind, one of the good things about Go is that it does its best to help to sanitize your data. If something is coming in from the outside, it does its best to sanitize it. Okay, that cannot be said about other languages, whereby you will have to actually do all of it, do all of the sanitizing yourself. Otherwise, you do run the risk of having these SQL injection attacks. All right, so let me recap. We need to create the insert statement, save it in a variable. Since it's on multiple lines, we use our backticks, multi-line string. Then we call the execute command, okay, which will actually run the query, okay, and we provide the values that will be used to replace these parameters. Okay, now if there are any errors, we'll check for those, and if not, then we know everything worked. So let's run this. It's only a few lines of code, but I don't want to stress it since it's the first time. And then eventually you get used to it. So go run main.go. Okay, nothing happened. So let's move over to our database. Yeah, here. All right, and let's see if we have, let's choose quotations, quote, sorry. Select quote from quotations. Okay, we should see the Laozu in there. And there we have it. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. So if I say select count quote from quotations, obviously we should see 2, right? We should see 2. All right. We were able to send an SQL query, send a prepared SQL statement, which was then executed on our behalf on our database. All right, so that's inserting. Of course, we still need to look at the other part, such as updating, such as deleting. All right. Such as actually reading, meaning perform a query like I just did here, where I get back results. Okay. When we're inserting, there are no results. Right? You're just inserting. So in the remaining videos, we will look at each of these in turn, right? Because remember, the whole point of this is what you call CRUD. Okay, this is an acronym. Let's create. It's like your insert. Read. It's like when you do a select. Okay. Well, that's to update. That's self-explanatory. All right, you update some row. And D, of course, is to delete, right? To delete or drop some rows. And so that's the reason why they say CRUD. Okay, so a lot of your database a lot of web applications are CRUD applications, meaning you create users, you read back user information when you want to log in, you select blog posts from a user, you delete a user when they leave your application or close their account, right? So that's what we call CRUD. All right, so I'll leave it here, and I will see you in the other remaining videos where we finish up the CRUD. I'll see you then.